Kaspa holders, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. Appreciate you guys as always. First and foremost, just want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys, that has reached out. As you guys know, I did take a little bit of a break, about 3 days, since we last spoke about cash. A lot of people wanted to see these updates. So, shout out to you guys, number one, for showing so much support. It's always really nice to see great feedback. But yeah, let's take a look at what's happening with Kaspa. But before we get into it, I just want to say, if you don't want to miss any of these updates, hit that bell icon below so you're notified. But if you're looking across the market, once again, we're seeing multiple double-digit gainers across the market. Obviously, over the last 1 week, it kind of goes unsaid. We're seeing a lot of green. Kaspa up at 19.3%, with the price currently sitting at about 9.8 cents. The valuation at 2.57 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at almost $70 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in cryptocurrency. So, I want to start off by taking a really close look at the dominance. What you're looking at happening with the dominance over the last, few hours is obviously it has been pulling down, as we can see. But, before everyone starts jumping around and, get really, really excited about a potential altcoin season, we always want to kind of see, what has happened. Look at the last few days. We have retested these exact levels, and we have seen a bounce every single time since then. So is this time going to be very similar for us to get back up to 64.4% and higher? Obviously, there's definitely a chance of us seeing that happening, unless, of course, we drop below the 64.12%, which would show a sign that, maybe indeed, this could be, a switch in the trend. Now, right now, BTC is showing a lot of strength, with this beautiful bounce, for Bitcoin over the last few hours is really nice. And, obviously dominance, doing the complete opposite is obviously going to be a great day for altcoins. And, we're seeing that happening right now. As far as Kaspa's price is concerned, you're seeing some very, very interesting things happening. And, I kind of want to hold off on the price target. I kind of want to touch base on my last update on Kaspa, which was about 3 days ago, and I looked at some comments. Again, like I said, majority of you guys show great support, but the title of the video was I told you so. And yes, I did told you so, and I'm sure, like I said, a lot of people appreciate and show a lot of great feedback. Some of the things that we've discussed is something that I've been talking about for such a long time. And when I was saying, the reality things, a lot of people, that are moon boys were like, no, you're just being overly bullish for, overly bearish for no reason. And then, when you did see that trend reversal, I spoke about the trend reversal at such a perfect time. And you can see this for yourself. Since then, we did see a staggering, here, let's actually put this into perspective, 105% increase. So, again, you will always, see trolls. Obviously, you can't make everyone happy. But if you follow the channel on a regular day-to-day basis, you guys know your boy Crypto ZX has called this perfectly. But if you're looking at the price of Kaspa, it did make its way up to 11 cents. We did not retest that major key resistance we've been talking about on my channel quite a bit. Last time, we were at this key resistance was back on February. Let that sink in. A lot of people are ignoring this. Last time the price retested this key resistance and had a failed retest, which was, of course, on the 18th of Feb this year. So obviously, since then, we know what happened for the broader market, but you are starting to see, Kaspa really showing positive strength. Of course, it did see a little bit of a pullback, but look where we got supported by, guys. Look where we got supported by, right at the neckline of the 9.4 cents. Remember, that was a resistance to be looking out for, and that exact same level has played out as a support level, and we did see a little bit of a bounce, which again is always nice to see. So, it is showing strength right now, and as of now, we are in this upwards trajectory. And once we break out of this key resistance, I personally believe Kaspa could start showing positive strength. The 24-hour trading volume at 70 million. I know a lot of people are going to come and say that's quite low, which of course it is, but you are starting to see that number increasing more than we have seen in the past, which again really shows you the demand factor. So obviously, right now, so far so good. I like, the fact that, we're consolidating a little bit. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, we are seeing a retracement. A retracement of about 12.9% is more than healthy. You can see this for yourself after 110% increase. So like what I'm seeing here for Kaspa, one step at a time, as I've stated to you guys before. Let me know down below what you guys think. The target still is this key resistance. So far, we're on par with all the targets that we have aimed, but we want to trend this key resistance into support and take it from there. But let me know down below what you guys think. Let this time be the time where you do lock in profits. Learn from the past moves. Now, don't listen to the trolls online saying it's not good to lock in profits. It's always good to lock in profits. If you think the money that you're sitting at is too much that you cannot afford to lose, then guess what? It's your best strategy to lock some off the table. Do not listen to the internet comments. I promise you, they will take you nowhere. Listen to your gut. So, like I said, listen to your gut. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you later. Crypto ZX and peace out.